Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Unapologetically T. It is me, your girl Miss T, coming at y'all with a video this evening. So before I go ahead and jump off into this, I do want to say I apologize y'all that I have not gotten a video up in a while. As I told y'all, I do work from home, and sometimes I work long days and hours, and it's hard for me to kind of record sometimes, even when the weekend comes, because I be so busy. But today, all I have been doing is recording and editing. So I do have quite a bit of videos that I'm going to be uploading for you guys. So I expect some new videos coming out for you guys between tonight and tomorrow. All right. So I definitely want to I want to say this. I'm doing this video because I wanted to let people know about a situation that I have gone through and I'm currently dealing with. Maybe somebody else out there may have been through this situation or may be going through this situation. So I know that when you step on this platform that you open yourself up for a lot of stuff, but I'm still going to be selective of what I choose to share as far as my personal life. But this is something that I wanted to talk about because it's my story, it's my pain, and it's my hurt that I'm still dealing with right now. So I want to go right ahead and get off into this. Tonight's not going to be a haul. We're going to have a little bit of conversation time. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this because I don't want this video to be extremely long. Okay? So what I want to talk about is relationships and how they play on your emotional feelings. Alright? And how I should reword that and say relationships and how people play on your emotional feelings. That sounds a little bit better. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump off into this. So I was in a relationship with a man for 19 years. Okay? We were not married. We don't have any children together. We don't have any children by anybody else. Now, we got together in our early 20s. I used to work at a neighborhood pizza restaurant back in the day. And even though I knew of his name and he knew of my name, we had never crossed paths together. But one day, he happened to come up to the job where I was working at, and we had sparked up a conversation. And he was basically apologizing to me for what happened to a man who I was dating previously, who would have been my husband to this day, had the situation that happened to him not happened. So the person who I was in a relationship before this man that I was in this 19-year relationship with, the person previously, he had gotten murdered. And I'm not gonna elaborate on that situation because that's still something that's very painful for me to talk about to this day. So I'm not going to speak on anything else of that. But during this time, it had been like a year that had passed since that person I was dating was murdered. Alright, so like I said, we had sparked up a conversation. We was talking. And, you know, we exchanged numbers. And, you know, from there, you know, you go, you do what people do. You know, we started talking. We started going out. And, you know, from there, we ended up in a relationship. We ended up moving in with each other, you know, and, you know, we was young. So, like I said, we was in our early 20s. I'm 3 years older than him. So, you know, like I said, we did what people, you know, normally do. We ended up in a relationship. We moved in together. At the time, you know, as we were in this relationship, I was not thinking about marriage. When I was in my 20s, y'all, neither one of us was thinking about marriage. When I was in my 20s, I was still trying to figure out who I am and what I wanted to do with my life. So I was not thinking about marriage at that time. You know, we was having fun. So, you know, for me, I was cool, you know, at where we was at in that point in time in our relationship. So let's kind of fast forward a little bit because, you know, I can't go through every little intricate part because if I did, it would take way too long. Let's fast forward a little bit. Now, when I got into my 30s, you know, that's when I started kind of talking about, you know, marriage, because I do believe in marriage, you know. But like I said, I wasn't trying to get married in my 20s. But when I got into my 30s, I started, you know, bringing up marriage. And, you know, it's funny, friends, because a lot of times people will gravitate to what they hear or see in their own family. You know, so, you know, when you see certain things in your family and you hear certain things in your family, a lot of time people kind of hold on to that. And sometimes they can take those life situations of somebody else and they can take those and they can move them into their own life. So when I had, you know, was bringing up marriage, he had told me, like, well, you know, people in my family that's got married ended up in divorce. So, you know, he had already carried over what he saw in his own family life and applied it to his life. Okay? So I know y'all might be saying, okay, that was a red flag. But, again, I was young, and then at the time, even though I was in my 30s, at the time, I was comfortable. And, you know, and one thing about it, I'm going to always keep it 100. I was comfortable in my relationship, and sometimes that's what happens. We as people, we become comfortable in a relationship. We become comfortable with the people who we have been around for a long period of time. It happens. So, you know, I was being treated good. You know, he was good to me. We had fun together. He didn't put his hands on me. So, you know, I looked at it like I'm good. So basically, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to, you know, roll with the flow. And let me just say this, because I got a lot of flack from, you know, people, you know, and I want to make sure I make this clear, because a lot of times people can be so judgmental, you know, about people's people's life choices, okay? And, you know, I got a lot of flack back because I guess like what some of the older people say, we was shacking, you know, but whatever you want to call it, you know, we was living together and we were not married. So if that's what you want to call it, hey, put your label on it. But like I said, I got a lot of flack back from people, and I got the, you know, folks so quick to be the, oh, I ain't no way, I would never, I could never, you know. It's always so easy to say what you wouldn't do out your mouth, but at the end of the day, when you operating in emotions and feelings, you know, and you pass them words LOVE out your mouth, I'm sorry, but it hit a different way. And it does. Sometimes people don't want to admit that, but I'm one who will, I'm going to stand on what I say. And it happens. It can happen that way. And like I said, sometimes you get comfortable in a situation. And again, that's what happened in this relationship. I got very comfortable in that situation. So, you know, a lot of married people, you know, would be, oh, you know, he ain't married you yet, why you still there, and da-da-da, whatever. But at the same token, can't nobody dictate to you what you gonna do in your life, because at the end of the day, that's you. That's your life. It's your feelings. People can say what they want to say. At the end of the day, you can do a lot of talking. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that person gonna still do what they want to do, because it's their life, it's their choice. You know, and sometimes people, you know, it's not that I turned a deaf ear, but It's always in the approach. You know, people, that's something people need to learn. It's always in the delivery. If you come at me crazy when you trying to tell me something instead of coming at me correct, I'm going to automatically do this because I'm going to turn a deaf ear to you. I ain't trying to hear what you're talking about. You know, so if you want to tell me something, then come to me right. Because if you come to me with all that rah-rah, I ain't trying to hear that. You know, that's the quickest way for me to tune you straight out. You know, so I had a lot of people coming to me, like I said, a lot of people, married people that had an opinion. And I used to be like, and I'm okay, and let me just say this too, I'm okay with opinions. You know, because everybody got one. Everybody got one. I'm okay with the good and the bad. Believe me, I'm all right with that. But at the same token, so many people that had opinions, and for me, it was like, you know, before you try to come for me, take, you know, sweep the cobwebs out your corners. Sweep your front and your back, though. Because you got trash at both. You know, and that's what used to get me, you know, is the just being a hypocrite about how you coming towards me, you know, or at me with your conversation. So, you know, like I said, going through this situation, I felt like I was happy, you know, in my relationship. Like I said, we enjoy one another. We vibe together. We could talk about any and everything. We had our ups and downs like anybody else. You know, we went through regular life situations. And when I say, like I said, I believe in marriage. And trust me, like, being in a relationship, like, I wanted to move to the point of being a wife. And that's where I was hoping that it was going to go to, you know, because that's where I wanted it to go to, you know. But again, like I said, sometimes people be so judgmental, you know, and especially sometimes some of the, you know, married people sometimes be so judgmental. And I just be like, you know, listen, I'm all for marriage, but the same way with relationships, marriage ain't just a sugar honey iced tea. When people be talking about, well, you know, a marriage is hard work. It's hard work in a relationship or in a marriage. Because before you get to a marriage, you in a relationship. Unless you just a person that don't care about who you with or whatever, you just there just to be there or just to play, have a good time or whatever, that's different. But when you in a relationship because you genuinely love that person wholeheartedly, like, yeah, you trying to get to marriage. So it's hard work. It ain't easy. And anybody who say it is a lie from the pits of HELL, because it is still hard work. Now, when you get married, yes, it is hard work. It is even harder work to be able to keep your marriage and keep your marriage together. Okay? But it's still hard work nonetheless. You know, like I said, I used to have so many little yin conversations with people that would be married and would always have this or that to say, you know, and would always try to make a point. Like I said, I'm always open to listen, but it's in the delivery of how you bring it to me, you know. And I remember having a conversation with somebody, and I was like, and they was just talking about, you know, they relationship, they marriage, and you know, they was young too, just like I was at the time, and how was this, this, that, and the third or whatever. But I have to say this, and because, well, I ain't even gonna say that, I ain't gonna go there, but let me just say this: there's people I know right now who married to somebody who they don't even like. It's people who be married that stay married because they got little children and they don't want to leave because they still want the mama and daddy in the house. It's people that's still in a marriage that don't feel like they can go out here on their own financially to be able to start over again. And there's people that's in marriages because they may not be emotionally stable enough, mentally stable enough to go out here and to start over again. Because you're in a marriage does not mean that he can't cheat on you and you can't cheat on him. He can't have an outside baby on you. You can't have an outside baby on him. He can't give you no disease and you can't give him no disease. He can't knock you upside your head and you can't knock him upside his head. The same situations apply even when you are in a marriage. The same situations apply. Now, if you are married and y'all come together and y'all done build assets together, and let's say it goes into divorce and y'all can amicably come together to split y'all stuff or whatever, okay, hey, that's cool. But some people be married and end up in a divorce and they ain't got a pot or a window. So it don't always unfold that way where, oh, well, if people will be like, oh, well, if you ain't getting married, you ain't gonna get nothing. You don't know if you're gonna get nothing either way. Because a lot of times, if being honest, there's a lot of people out here married that some folks ain't built up assets together. They got, community property together. It don't always end up like that. There's some people that walk up out of marriage in debt. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I like to deal in the real, and I get like, okay, if you married and your spouse passed away or whatever, you had the opportunity to get, whatever it is your spouse get. I understand that. But when you young, you going to this stuff, your mind you not thinking about those things because like for real, most humans, we live in the here and the now. Okay? So, I was living in the here and the now. I was living in what I was feeling at that particular point in time, okay? That's the way I was operating. I love this man. I, did everything for this man, okay? And that's just like on everything. I was down for this man like 4 flat tires, all right? Through everything, through sicknesses, through, stuff that you deal with, through family, all of that. I was there. I handled my business. And that is just on period. I handled my business, because when you go into a relationship, you're not just going into a relationship with just that person. No. When you go into a relationship, you also going into a relationship also with their family as well. And far as like with me, my mother and one of my aunts already knew his mother, so it was kind of like, it was cool, when we got together because, they love me and then, we built love for each other and, I built love for them. We had our little yin-yings or whatever. That's going to happen. But we genuinely loved one another. So, it was all good. So anyway, let's fast forward a little further now. Okay, so let's go to the where I'm at right now. So last year, October last year, my grandmother, my granny, was having a birthday. Her birthday was 23rd of October, so we decided to give her a surprise birthday party on the 22nd, which was a Saturday, because she was turning 90 years old. So a bunch of my relatives and stuff came, and we put tents up in the backyard. It was real beautiful. We gave her a beautiful 90th birthday party. We had a lot of people that came and visited, and the man who I was in a relationship, he was there as well. He was there. He was socializing with, everybody. And everything seemed good. At least that's what I thought. Okay? Now, before my grandmother's birthday, my uncle that lived with her, he had already asked me previously if I could come and stay with my grandma because she, older, because he was going on a trip to the Bahamas. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. I work from home. I could take my stuff over there. They got internet. I'm good. So I was going to be there for a week, which my boyfriend, he knew that. So it was okay. And so after the birthday party, now this is the next week. This is the last week in October of last year. So I want to say it was like around the 28th of October. I may be off a little bit, but I want to say it was the 28th, but I could be wrong. I know it was a Thursday. It was a Thursday. I do believe it was a Thursday. It was. So, like we normally do, we talk all the time, during the day or whatever, we talk. This was nighttime, and I was like, I'm gonna go to bed. Well, I want to call him because I want to, call him, check on him, see how his day went and stuff like that, And so I was getting ready to settle down to go to sleep, so I went ahead and called him, so we could, talk. When I called, he answered. He was real dry, real nonchalant. So I'm like, well, dang, okay, what's up with him? So I asked him, I said, are you okay? Did I do something wrong, something to offend you? And he was like, look, I'm not happy, and I'm getting my stuff and I'm leaving by this weekend. So, of course, it's dead airspace, or whatever for a minute. And so, I'm like, oh, okay. So I asked him, I said, well, you gonna run me the rent money? And he was like, yeah, I'll bring it to you. I'll bring it on Friday. I said, okay. And I hung up the phone because there was nothing else left to say between each other. You said what you said. You made up your mind. You chose to do what you was gonna do. That Friday came. He came. I saw him before he could, knock on the door. I saw him coming down the street. I got up. I opened the door. He put the money in my hand, and he turned around and he left. No nothing. No conversation. No nothing. Turned around and left. So, at the end of the day, I was hurt. I was real hurt. But what was I gonna do? Because I wasn't finna act no fool. Now, some years ago, maybe I would have flipped nutty. But, nah, I wasn't finna do that. Because at the end of the day, you cannot keep nobody that don't want to be kept. You cannot keep nobody that don't want to be kept. I don't care if you are dating or if you're married. If somebody don't want to be with you, they not. I don't care if you go. I don't care if you destroy whatever they got, tear their car up. Whatever you want to do, go fight them. Go fight whoever you think they with. That ain't going to change the circumstance or situation at all. They gonna still do what they want to do at the end of the day. And ain't nothing you can do about it but accept it. If a person tell you they don't want to be with you, that they not happy, it is what it is. Now, what I will say is it don't take that long for somebody to know what they want to do in their life. Okay? And that's one point that I want to come and bring up, because know your worth. Man, know your worth, woman. Don't let nobody take your time. Because understand something. The one thing you can never get back in this life is time. You cannot. We can never step backwards. We can only continue to move forward. So you can never get back time. Do not let anybody waste your time. Do not allow people to play on your emotional feelings. Do not. Don't. When I left my grandmother's house on that Saturday, and I had not told her what had happened. When I left her that Saturday and I came back to the apartment that we shared. Because when he left, he had called me on that Friday night, and he had told me that he had, because we stayed in a basement floor apartment, that he had left the key on the inside of the window ledge. So when you close the window from the outside, it locks, so you can't open it back. So when I came home that Saturday, I knew that he wasn't there, and The atmosphere, of course, was different because when you used to something for so long and the atmosphere has changed, it's different. When I walked into the apartment that we shared, that was the first time where I felt like for lack of better words, I couldn't breathe because I felt like, this was new for me. This could be new for me. This is different. This is totally different. And the atmosphere hit differently. Look, like, I'm trying to feel. Listen, we have been through little spats and little breakups where, he might have went to his mama's house or whatever. He came back. No, this wasn't that. This was different. This hit different. This was different. This wasn't the same right here. This was totally different. So when I came in the house and I felt that was the first time that it was the first and only time I ever cried snot booger tears. Do you hear me? Like the first and only time that I had opened the floodgates and I just fell to the floor and I just lost it. And I had to release that because that was a pain that hit like so hard in my soul. So I had to let that go. I had to let it go. I wasn't finna get on the phone and call that man. I wasn't gonna do all that because, see, understand something. If this had been a situation where I had cheated or did something, like, I could understand you wanting to walk away and you wanting to go. You understand what I'm saying? But this wasn't that. You feel what I'm saying? This was not that at all. Like I said, I have been there. I have been there. Do you hear me? Yeah, I have been there. So this wasn't that. But again, you can't keep nobody that don't want to be kept. You cannot. In the words of my girl Fantasia, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Go ahead and free yourself. And that is exactly what that man did. He walked away and he freed himself. It didn't matter to him about me or my feelings. It didn't matter. That didn't matter. Because I had to get through Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. That hit different for me. You understand? We've been together for a long time. So now, this different. But I will say this, and y'all, my eye leaking. I'm sorry. I'm really not crying for real. But what can I say? I'm gonna say this, and this is whether or not you believe or not. I do. God is a keeper. Do you hear me? He is a keeper. He will keep your mind and he will keep your heart in a time when you are going through a serious storm. And God, it was nobody but God that kept me. I am so grateful to him. Like I said, I don't care about what nobody else believes. Everybody don't believe the same way, and that's okay. But this is what T believe, all right? God is a keeper. I am so grateful to him. And then to my family. Because my sisters, they rallied around me. They helped me. They got me through a rough, hard time. You understand what I'm saying? It was their love that also helped me to be able to help self-heal. Because I don't know what it would have been if it wasn't for them to also be there in the midst of that rough time for me. It has been a journey. It still continues to be a journey to this day. Because you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. You understand what I'm saying? There's sometimes I be in this apartment and I be cussing out just to the air because sometimes I get to that emotional point. But that's okay. Because at the end of the day, I've been through too much in my life. Through too much in my life. I lost my mama in 2021. But I am still standing. And I refuse to crumble. I refuse to. Because I know who I belong to, I refuse to. Every day that he allows me to have breath, I'm going to get up and put one foot in front of the other. And I'm going to keep on pushing. I'm going to keep pushing. And another funny part about it was that, y'all, I have always wanted to do YouTube Friends for so long. But I procrastinated for so many years. And it's crazy how this situation worked where he ended up walking out on me, leaving me. There was like a kick in my ass for me to go ahead and start YouTube. You know, I found myself like, okay, boom, I was able to get one video out and then another one, you know. And I'm going to be honest, y'all, for me, this has been self-therapy. It's been self-therapy. It has helped me. It has helped me to be able to heal. It has helped me to truly be able to heal. And so that's why I wanted to come out and talk about my situation. Because we have heard so much lately about violence in relationships. Playing on people's emotions. On their emotional feelings. We done heard too much of that. Too much of that. Just not long ago, there was a young lady, I don't know if they was married, I can't remember. They shot her husband in the head on Facebook. Playing on people's emotional, listen, people emotional feelings, man, look, it's not a game. It's not. If you don't want to be with somebody, it don't take you years to know if that's what you want to do. It don't. And if you don't, walk your ass on. Go on about your business. Because if you want to play, there's a lot of playheads out here to play with. A lot. Go do that. Go do that. But don't waste nobody's time. Don't waste nobody's time. Because time is valuable. It's valuable. That's one thing that I don't, you know, that's something that I never, ever in our relationship is playing, you know, like I'm a grown I am a grown ass woman. I don't have time for games. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time for games. And at the end of the day, like, you know, I look at it and I'm like, so much time that I vested, you know, and for not. But I will say this. And let me just say this. I'm not going to say that he didn't pour anything into this relationship. Because I would be a lie if I said that. I would be a lie if I said that. So I'm not saying that he didn't. But it was in the way that he handled my feelings. Like 19 years, the way he handled my feelings. I felt like I was a jump off. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the things, you know, when you really sit down and you think about it, you really think about it, all the stuff that you done done, everything that you done put out, everything, your energy, your time, everything that you have done, man, if any, I'm telling you, like, for real, the point that you be so heated about, like, man, it's time, is what I have poured out. Like, that is where I have had times where I have just started just cussing out loud. Because that frustrates me the most. It frustrates me the most. Don't play with people's emotions. Don't play with people's time. Be honest with people. If you don't want to be with somebody, don't. But don't waste nobody's time. Because like I said, it don't take all of that for you to know if you want to be with somebody or not. It don't take all of that. People out here don't be playing about that. We hear too much, like I said, of people out here that will take you up out of here about playing on their feelings. Now, me, on the other hand, I'm not finna do that. I ain't about to kill nobody. Because I'm not finna go to jail. Because that's forever, ever, and ever, ever. Absolutely not. Not gonna do that at all. Yeah, this pain, it hurt. But you can get past the hurt. But everybody don't handle it like that way because everybody's mental. Don't work like that. Everybody mental don't work like that. So you got to be careful how you deal with people's emotional feelings. Be careful how you treat people. And I'm going to say this before I end this video. And I don't care if nobody believe this or not. I know for myself because I have seen it too many times. You, in life, you will reap what you sow. So as you do unto others shall be done unto you. Please know that. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be a month from today. It may not be a year. But what you do unto others, you will reap what you sow. And that is just the truth. And I done seen that too many times. Don't play on people's emotions. Don't play on people's emotions. But I'm going to say this, y'all, before I end this video. To anybody that might be going through this same struggle, I have gone through that struggle. Just know this, is that you're going to have good and bad days. Good and bad days. But you can make it through. It ain't easy. You can make it through. It's going to be scary. Because if nothing else right now, my biggest fear that I'm so scared about, because I was with somebody for so long and shared time and space with somebody for so long, I done shared time and space with that man. I can never tell you that I don't miss him, I don't love him, because I'll be a liar. We shared time and space for 19 years. So my biggest fear is that I got to learn somebody all over again. I got to step out here and I got to learn somebody all over again. And that is my biggest fear. Because I don't know how the next person is going to be to me. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if you're going to be an abuser. I don't know if you got that monkey on your back. I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? You got to learn. You got to learn somebody all over again. And like I said, when you go out here in a relationship, it ain't just about the person. It ain't just about that woman or about that man that you connecting with. It's also with whatever come with him. And that means if he got a baby mama, an ex-wife, his family, all that factors into that situation. All that factors in that situation. So I'm telling you, woman, you can do it. Man, you can do it. If you've been hurt out here like that, know that you can make it. It ain't easy. It's going to be difficult days, but you can do it. As long as you, like I said, if this ain't your belief, then that's fine. But this man, as long as you keep your trust in God, you can do anything you want to do. Understand that this situation is not your ending. It is your beginning. Because greater is for you. Okay? So just know that you can make it. I am living that right now. That you can make it. Okay? Don't harden your heart. But what I will say is guard yourself. Because what I will say is this. Moving forward, I will never pour out as much as I poured out and who I was with. I will never pour that much of myself out. I am not saying that I will not give of myself to someone that I become interested in, but I will be selective of how much of myself that I give. And I will never, ever dwell under the same roof with somebody that is not my husband. Never gonna do that again. No. So anyway, y'all, yeah, I want to open up and I want to get that out there. I feel better because I purged. Okay, so yeah, but anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get up off of here. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get up off of here. Friends, I thank you for tuning in, for, you know, listening to me open up and be able to speak. Like I said, I feel every time I'm able to be able to get on this platform, it makes me feel better. You know, on a daily basis, that I'm able to be able to do this, because it actually makes me feel happy. So again, I thank you for being able to listen to me. If you enjoy the content that is coming from my channel, please make sure that you subscribe. Be sure to like this video. That will help me to grow on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so that you will be alerted every time I upload a new video. Share, friends, share. Don't be stingy. Go tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody else about what Miss T got going on over here on this channel. Alright, friends, until next time, y'all continue to be blessed. One love.